Okay, I think we'll get started. I think we'll get started. So good afternoon, and welcome to the PRCA Schools Outreach Programme launch event. We are delighted to run this event during National Careers Week, which aims to promote the importance of good career education in schools and colleges. And the mission of the Schools Outreach Programme is to inspire a new generation of communications professionals with a particular emphasis on attracting students from diverse backgrounds. We aim to do this by connecting PR volunteers with schools and colleges across the UK. And we're aware that the majority of young people have no knowledge or understanding of what PR professionals do, nor do they consider it as a career prospect. So we're hoping to change that one school at a time. Higher education and career choices can be quite confusing and sometimes limited. We're essentially hoping to expand the next generation's options and introduce a new creative path and exciting career. PRCA will basically act as the middleman between schools and volunteers. So today we are demystifying public relations. So we'll show you how exciting the industry can be and discuss the different routes to get in. And the part I'm most looking forward to is sort of speaking to different PR professionals who are some of the sort of visit volunteers for the program. And we'll find out about where they work, how they got into PR, what made them stay, and the advice basically for you guys if PR does in fact fancy. So you all have an opportunity to ask questions at the end. If any sort of pop into your head throughout, there is a chat function at the bottom, the Q&A, or in the chat. We'll be able to see that, and then we'll answer them at the end. The event is recorded, so anyone able to sort of unable, should I say, to make it live can always watch it back. Or if anything sort of pops out to you that you want to remind yourself about, you can also watch it back. We'll start off with who we are. We are the Public Relations and Communications Association, the world's largest professional PR body, representing over 35,000 practitioners in 82 countries worldwide. To maintain and improve professional standards in the PR and communication industry, we hold our members to account using something called a code of conduct. We offer training, share practice and industry data, run events and campaigns to bring PR professionals together. We are also the training provider for PR apprenticeship program, and that's essentially where I work. And this essentially means we deliver training on the program and oversee the quality of assessment. So I'm the head of apprenticeship at PRCA. So I'm particularly passionate about career development, professional training, and progression. We'll also then start with what PR actually is and what are some of the words that you can associate with PR. PR is short for public relations and refers to the strategic communication from an organization, brand, or an individual to the public. And essentially, its purpose is to maintain or promote positive public image or respond to public discussion. And PR professionals offer advice and deliver campaigns that strengthen and protect the organization's reputation. In other words, so I say in other words, it's reputation management. So all of these words that you see on your screen, PR is all of them. And a well-known saying in PR is no 2 days are the same. The industry offers a wealth of opportunities. A PR job could see you organizing events, participating in conversations on Twitter, writing press releases, placing stories in newspapers and magazines, and promoting some of the world's most exciting charity brands. So I'll just like to play a very short video that I think perfectly summarizes PR and hopefully cements the definitions that I just made.
Public relations is a strategic management function that helps organisations inform and influence people who are important to them. PR professionals offer advice and deliver campaigns that strengthen and protect the reputation of the organisations they work for. They do this by communicating with different groups of people, from customers and employees to journalists and politicians. In fact, anyone with an influence over how an organisation operates. Their mission is to build relationships with these groups of people and develop messages that positively influence the reputation of the organisation. Public relations professionals use a wide variety of channels to reach these audiences, from newspapers and magazines to meetings and events, broadcast media and social media. For example, PR professionals often speak to journalists to ensure their organisation's messages are reflected in the media, in the stories they report. This is called media relations. Some PR professionals will work with influencers to help build a favourable impression of their organisation, product or service. This is called influencer relations. PR professionals are often called upon during crisis situations. They provide expert advice to bosses and leaders on how to act and communicate during a crisis. This part of PR is known as crisis communications. So how does PR differ from advertising? Advertising involves organisations buying media space to display messages they want people to see. But traditional PR offers organisations a more powerful alternative by persuading independent and influential people like journalists and bloggers to endorse the organisation's products or services. For example, an advert will tell you to buy a certain product, but a successful PR campaign will ensure your favourite website is discussing the benefits of that product. PR shapes opinions, attitudes and behaviours, and when used right, it's an incredibly powerful tool. Why? Because reputation matters. We trust organisations and buy their products and services based on what we think of those organisations. Will they be good for us? Will they deliver? Are they ethical? Having a strong reputation is fundamental to the success of any organisation. That's what makes PR professionals so valuable.
Brilliant. So essentially, just to sort of build on to that, there are two main arms of PR, so agencies and in-house. And especially PR agencies will have a group of different clients whose PR they manage. This includes sort of writing statements to go into the press, managing social media accounts, running campaigns. So the people that work in those PR agencies need to put on different hats to tell the story of each brand that they represent. The agencies tend to specialize in a sector. So, for example, hospitality, education, influencer relations, or tech. PR is needed in a single industry, field, and sector, so it's increasingly important for businesses to invest in it. And often, as was said in the video, sort of large organizations, such as the ones that you see on the screen, manage their own PR. They have dedicated teams that specialize in ensuring everything that goes out, either from the get-go or a response to an incident, is as positive as possible. So they do the same as an agency, but focus only on the company that they work for. So I've been in my role for some years now, and in that time, we've sort of attended a great deal of careers fairs and events. And from speaking to a range of young people, it's become clear to me that a lot of them have existing skills and interests that are actually directly related to PR, and they're taken for granted. So that might be the same for you. You never know. So if you are a strong writer, interested in sort of all forms of media and what's going on in the world, have a creative approach, and enjoy interacting with people, new people, then PR could just be a great option. So just have a look there basically and see if any of those pop out to you. So there are also two main routes into the industry, university degree or an apprenticeship. Traditionally, a lot of people got into PR by doing a degree before securing a full-time junior position, and university graduates can then apply for graduate schemes, internships, or entry-level positions. And naturally, the degrees with PR, comms, marketing in their titles are popular. But PR professionals also hold a very mixed bag of degrees. And then on the flip side, if you think university might not be for you and you'd like to kickstart your sort of PR career straight from school, then you can apply for the PR apprenticeship. And this is a level 4 higher apprenticeship program equivalent to the first year degree or foundation degree. And it's a genuine opportunity to earn while you learn in an exciting and varied industry. So for those who don't attend university, the PR apprenticeship school involves working in the actual industry for a period of time while working for qualification. There are sort of main entry requirements for both routes, graduate or apprenticeship, and 3 A levels and relevant subjects, GCSEs, including English and maths. And for apprenticeships, apprentices can be enrolled onto a maths functional skills course if required as well. Then they can do that sort of alongside their training. And additionally, apprentices should be 16 or over, living in England, and not in full-time education. But to be honest with you, don't let any of this bog you down, because it really is how you come across in the application, what sort of skills and interests you focus on, and then outside of that, how you come across in the interview, how you present yourself. Communication is key. Okay, so I hope you feel a little bit more informed about what public relations is and how you can start a career in it. But let's now meet a few PR professionals currently working in PR. So to sort of learn more about any industry, there is nothing more insightful than hearing it directly from those who do it day in. I'll just stop sharing my screen so I can see you all. Hello, lovely speakers. How are you all doing?
Good, thank you.
Amazing, amazing. So, I mean, we'll start off with, we have quite a nice range of speakers today, which is great. Could you please introduce yourself, sort of tell us what you do and how you got into PR?
Yeah, do you want me to start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I'm Georgia. I am an account manager at a tech-focused PR agency called Nelson Bostock. We're based here in London. I started out as an account assistant at Nelson Bostock. So I came in as a real newbie. I'd never done PR before. Since then, kind of over the last 2 years now, I've got to work with some really amazing big brands like Google and Amazon and EE. And before joining PR, I worked as a journalist. I was a news reporter for a company called William Reed Business Media. So that was very, very different to what I do now. It was focused on kind of hospitality and writing news about restaurants and all that sort of thing. And then before that, I studied English and history at university. And then I did a master's in modern and contemporary English as well. So didn't really study PR, didn't know much about it before I came into it, and now absolutely love it.
I love that. And I mean, you are the perfect example of the fact that a lot of people just fall into PR. We want to change that. We want it to be people's choice.
Yeah,
exactly. Quite early on. So Jess, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So hi everyone. I'm Jess. I work for the UK's leading broadcast PR agency, which essentially means, sort of in the simplest way, if you see or hear TV or radio presenters talking about a particular initiative or new research that's being launched with a brand associated with it, whether that's with an influencer or an expert or a celebrity sort of sitting with them talking about it, that's what we do. So we put those spokespeople there in order to discuss our clients' key messaging, and we consult sort of from the outset on what the best story is to deliver the coverage that the client is looking for. So I did a degree in sociology, and I wasn't totally sure how it would be relevant to a career later down the line because it's so broad, but actually it's really great because it's so broad, it touches on all different parts of society and aspects from that perspective. Works really well for my job now. I actually got the job at Marketeers by doing a week's work experience first. So I found out about the company through a mutual family friend, didn't quite understand it, did a week's work experience, and they offered me a job late after that. 6 years later, I am still here. and I've worked my way up to client service lead. So I run a team of people. We work with clients, sort of international, national, local brands and organizations, and I love it. No 2 days the same. I get itchy feet, I get bored quickly. So having completely different days and weeks all the time works really, really well for me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm definitely a big advocate for starting off in a company as an intern. I started at the PRCA as an intern myself. Granted, I had a degree, but for non-degree goers or non-degree completers, should I say, Amber, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so hi everyone, I'm Amber and I'm account executive at Fin Partners. So Fin Partners is a global PR agency, which is right now I'm based in London, but there's offices all over the world, which is quite nice to have. So as Stephanie shares, I didn't go to uni. I ended up doing an apprenticeship straight after finishing my A-levels. So I did my A-levels in French, Spanish and philosophy, and that sort of adds with the writing aspect of PR, which led me to sort of be part of PR industry. So when I was looking for an apprenticeship, I didn't really know what I wanted. I was originally looking for marketing, and then I happened to fall upon a PR apprenticeship, and I thought there's a similar skills, similar interest, I might as well, and I ended up really enjoying myself. So within my apprenticeship, I was lucky to be able to have experience in different sectors. At Fin Partners, they do a range of different sectors from consumer to tech to manufacturing, and where I am now at corporate. So within corporate, again, there's another range of clients that we do. So we go from shipping to education to even a bedding client that sells bedding and blankets. So it's definitely, yeah, every day is different and I'm really enjoying myself.
Amazing, thank you. And to be honest, that's something that's across the board. You all work on things day to day, and that's kind of what we want to focus on, in this event, is just to let people know that PR really is so varied. So thank you for those lovely introductions. So I'll just come to each of you with a couple of questions. So Georgia, what do you enjoy most about PR?
I mean, I know it's already been mentioned a couple of times that there is this sort of saying that no day is the same. And it does sound a bit cliche, but it is honestly true. And I think having that level of kind of variation in the work and getting to do so many different things every day, it keeps it so interesting. So for example, I know you already mentioned, Stephanie, about working in-house or working in an agency. So Nelson Bostock is a PR agency, which means that we work across lots of different types of brands within the tech space. And that can be anything from kind of cybersecurity startups to sort of big technology giants like Google. And because of that, it means that everybody within the agency gets to work with a really diverse range of brands across kind of slightly different sectors within tech. As well as that, you get to work on lots of different types of campaigns as well, because you tend to find that the different brands that you work with like to do PR in a slightly different way. They might prioritize media relations, or they might be really content heavy, or they might ask you to plan their entire PR strategy for the year, which is always really fun because you get lots of control over that. So there's that kind of level of diversity there, but also the work itself within the same kind of week or the same day, you'll spend time writing an article about sustainability, or you'll be doing a national sell-in where you'll be on the phone to journalists trying to get them to cover this really exciting piece of news that you might have, or you might be planning an event somewhere and booking venues and sorting guest lists and doing all those different sorts of things within the space of kind of 12 hours or 24 hours. So it just means that you're never bored, and you're able to kind of really build, I found, quite a broad range of skills. And importantly, if one of those skills is really up your street and you find that you're really, really good at media relations, or you really enjoy writing content, you often get the opportunities to specialize in it and kind of go down that route a little bit more heavily. So here we've got different kind of groups within the agency who choose to specialize in one thing, which means you get the opportunity to do a bit of everything, but then also really hone in on the things that you enjoy the most. So yeah, I'd say that kind of variation and level of choice, I suppose, that comes with the job.
amazing. And to be honest with you, just to tail off of that, because PR is literally needed in every single sector and industry and whatever it might be. Sometimes I even go to careers fairs and I sort of mention to them, this is a form of PR. For all of these stands that you see here, this is a form of PR to try and reach out to you guys as one of their stakeholders, essentially. And it kind of clicks a little bit. So I just wanted to mention that as well, because you can sort of focus on any thing. And you've all sort of mentioned how that can come out in the work that you do as well. So Amber, since completing your apprenticeship, what would you say are the main skills you've put to use as a PR practitioner?
So it would definitely vary, as we've all said. It's definitely something that changes every day. Does something different. One of the main things, sort of skills that you can apply anywhere in any part of life, is prioritization and time management. So especially in agency, you'll have a lot of different clients that you have to manage, and they'll expect the same commitment even though they know you have other clients. So being able to understand on deadlines and what people actually mean and how you can sort of push things, but understanding where to push things and how to push things, and managing your time best. And then as well, just within PR, you also get amazing skills in your speaking skills as well as confidence. So at the start of my apprenticeship, I would not be able to do something like this panel, to speaking to quite a few people, or even just walking up to someone in a room in an event or something, and you're trying to get an interview for your client there and then. That's definitely something I was not able to do at the beginning of my apprenticeship, but now I definitely have those sort of skills where I can just go up to someone and say, hey, do you want to speak to my client? Obviously in a more eloquent way, but with that sort of conversations. And then as well, something else is that's quite key in PR that I didn't realize would be such a big thing, is learning how to rework your writing. So especially writing skills is a big part of PR, but being able to rewrite something in 5 different ways, but making all the content up to the standard that is needed, that's definitely a big requirement for PR. I think that's something that I wasn't expecting, but it's something that you will learn to do and that you will learn to do well.
Amazing, thank you. Would you both agree with that, Georgia and Jess, as well? Just in terms of the sort of skills that you show or have to put to use as a PR practitioner.
Yeah, totally. I was sort of nodding my head like, yeah.
Agree
the whole time.
Absolutely, I second that. Third that. Amazing. So Georgia, you've moved from journalism to PR. So from your experience, how quickly can someone who's sort of starting out progress in the industry?
In my experience, relatively quickly, I would say. I mean, as I said, I started out in journalism, came into PR as a real sort of fresh face. But if you're not afraid to kind of ask questions and give things a go and really sort of be proactive about getting involved in things, I found, especially in kind of an agency setting, there are so many opportunities to progress quickly and to kind of try out new things. I know we've talked a lot about kind of the variation and the different things you can try, and I think sometimes that might feel a little bit overwhelming because it means you have to kind of dip your toe into lots of different skills. But I think it's also quite important to say that there's loads to learn, but there's also so many different people to learn it from. And I've found in my experience that it really is the type of industry where you don't really need to be too worried about making mistakes, and it's way more important to just kind of give things a go, try your hat out at different things. And we take such a team approach to every task that there tends to be kind of a real support system. For example, on this call we've got 3 people who are completely different levels, and within an agency working on, say, one brand or one client, you'll have 3 or 4 different team members working on that client, so you all kind of really muck in and work together. So because of that, there are kind of different ladders that you can work your way up, and people to help you along the way. So yeah, because of that, I think it can help. And also I think there are so many different types of PR, as we've already mentioned. So you can sort of work in an agency, work in-house, but also the different sectors that you can work in. So I think if you're looking to progress quickly, a really good starting point is just think about who you are as a person and what you already enjoy. So you need to kind of remember that where you start out in PR doesn't necessarily mean where you're going to end up. It doesn't determine where you're going to end up. But if you are somebody who really enjoys being really creative, then you might go for a kind of creative consumer focused agency, which is really sort of fast moving, and you do lots of brainstorms and big kind of creative stunts. Or if you're someone who's a little bit more reserved, you might prefer to go to more of a corporate setting. And kind of just knowing your strengths and knowing yourself, I think, is a really good stepping stone to be able to progress in any direction that you want to progress in throughout the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a big part of that, yeah, as you mentioned, is just honing in on something you enjoy, because you're more likely to sort of throw yourself into something if you actually enjoy what the client's talking about, what it is that they do. And granted, sometimes you won't know until you start. So I know some PR professionals have mentioned to me, for example, finance. They never have thought that they would be interested in finance, but actually, when they do it, they learn so much from the clients that they work with, and actually it's something that they're interested in. So it's just about, you know, working in lots of places, seeing as well. And I say that because internships are a big way of finding out, you know, where your cubby hole might be. So Jess, you started, I know you mentioned this at Marketeers during work experience, and you know, you've stayed for 6 years. So what are you enjoying so much about your role?
It's a good question. I think that the thrill has never stopped for me. So I was sort of intoxicated at the beginning by all of the incredible coverage that the company secured, and seeing it once I was there for longer, seeing it from the initial consultancy that we give a client, whether that's another PR agency or a brand directly, and seeing it through all the way to the end, and seeing that coverage and watching it or hearing it, it's you get a proper thrill from it, and it's so satisfying at the end. And it's just constantly, that's what I always want and love. And I guess I also love, one thing that I absolutely love about the role is a key focus for me is building client relationships. And I love that. I love talking to people every day, different people, whether that's internally, externally. And I'm lucky that I get to work with so many different types of clients. And, you know, there's always the fun things, going out for breakfast or lunches together as well. But that's something that I really enjoy. And I still get a thrill when a client comes back to me after a project's finished and said, actually, we loved working with you guys, we want to work with you on something else. So that, for me, building those client relationships is really sort of the gold star, and why it just keeps me excited for the last 6 years and continues to. But I think sort of the reason that I've stayed in Marketeers, I think, is that it sounds quite cringy, but we are a big family. Everyone's got each other's back. Everyone really enjoys each other's company. And it's not a secret that in PR, you work long hours. It is hard work. So you really have to get on so well with the people you work with. And I think that's really important for anyone looking for a job at any point, is to make sure that you gel with the people that you work with, because if you silo yourself off, it just with the hours that you work, and it's constant, you know, it won't work. So I think the people that I work with are the reason that I'm still at Marketeers, because, you know, we do really like each other.
I mean, that makes it a lot easier, doesn't it, to be honest with you? So you mentioned sort of just relationships in general, so client relationships, but also colleague relationships, people you work with. It sort of makes it all worth it. So part of that, if I'm wrong, is seeing the results of your hard work, having clients come back to you and say, thank you so much, actually we would like to work with you again. Going to campaigns that you likely have put on, what would you say is the most exciting one that you've been involved in?
It's a really hard question.
I'm sure there's lots. 6 years.
There are so many, and there's so many really cool clients and amazing spokespeople and celebrities and influencers that we worked with. But I think I would have to say a personal highlight for me was being asked to work as the broadcast partner for Pfizer on their announcement when they had their vaccine approved, and UK-wide and globally as well. So it was really, really top secret beforehand. And all of a sudden it was 5 a.m, right, we've had approval, go, go, go. So it was all literally on the day, media and history. It was really, really incredible to be part of. So I think that probably, I would have to say, would have to top the list.
I mean, fair enough. It's sort of hopefully once in a lifetime thing, to be honest with you. Yeah, let's definitely hope. So, I mean, just in terms of campaigns, I'm going to come to each of you then. And, you know, what about you, Amber? Could you tell us about your favourite campaign? Why did you love it or enjoy it?
Yeah, so a favourite campaign of mine is one of just my highlights from my career so far. So I was able to go on a press trip to Iceland, which is the main part of the campaign. So the campaign involved Iceland's technologies for environmental development. So they have quite a few companies in Iceland that sort of work together within geothermal energy and that sort of sector. And they have different types of innovations that they wanted to share with UK and Germany media, as well as businesses, to see where they can scale their operations. So part of that was conducting and planning and organizing a press trip, which I've never done. And I was sort of asked to lead on that, and that was a very special moment for me, just because it just gave me so much confidence from my team as well as from the client that I could actually do a good job and perform. So we managed to get 6 journalists to Iceland from various number of media. So there was New Scientist and there was some trade media as well. And we had quite a bit of fun. So we were able to go to the Blue Lagoon. We went to different parts of Iceland. You know, we saw where Game of Thrones was shot in there. And it was just really wonderful experience. And then being able to learn about geothermal energy and different innovations within environment to help the environment. That was definitely something that I treasured, just because it's something that I'm not going to learn just on my own without help from my work and what I do. So that was definitely my favorite campaign that I've been on.
Amazing. So,
next time.
Yeah, exactly. Can I come along?
I'll be the broadcast partner for it.
Are you doing it?
I'll put your names down, don't worry.
I don't know how I would justify me being there, but you know, I just come along.
We'll work on it.
So you've just added another thing into the mix, just travel. And the opportunity to possibly travel, as you mentioned, Jess, you know, interact with different types of clients, but you know, sometimes that involves events with those clients, and it involves lunches or dinners with those clients as well. So all of your hard work is what, you know, rewarded in some way. And what better way to reward than going to Iceland? That's so brilliant. Georgia, sorry to put you on the spot, but do you think of your favourite campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you top seeing where Game of Thrones was filmed, but I'll give it a go. I mean, I have a couple. One as part of working with Google Cloud, we work with them on their annual event, which is called Google Cloud Next, and it's a massive international event where they announce loads of really cool, really techie news. And we work for the UK press office of Google Cloud, so we have to head up inviting journalists, setting up briefings and all the interviews to do with the news, a lot of the planning and getting journalists there and getting them tuned in to what's going on. And I know Jess mentioned earlier about kind of the buzz of getting coverage, but when we do those sorts of things, and it comes around every summer, we set up what we call a war room, where we'll all, like, everyone in the team will sort of go into a meeting room and we spend the whole day together, and usually you get pizza in and you're sort of constantly on the phone to journalists, setting everything up, and it's such a huge buzz. And then you kind of get to the end of event week and see all of the results coming in, and it's so good. So that's probably campaign wise one of my highlights. But also another big part of my role And one of my other clients is campaign planning and kind of aligning all of our other European agencies, so we're all kind of singing from the same hymn sheet, if you will. So a couple of months ago, for one of our other clients, we organised a big kind of international, essentially 2-day brainstorm, where we were able to get everybody from all of the agencies across Europe into the same room. We went out for a lovely dinner that night as well, which always helps, and just had a really, really productive, really fun 2-day brainstorming session, where we really got to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the creative side of the job and come up with some really fun plans for this year that we're then looking to kind of implement across all of our European markets. So being able to kind of be involved from the start like that is so, so exciting. And then hopefully this time next year, I'll be able to talk about how good it was. We've done them all, but we'll see.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, those are all such great experiences. But just to again put you on the spot, just wondering, you know, if I was to be a PR professional starting off, or actually I'm halfway through my career, in terms of, you know, ranking, that is, how would my day start, particularly? You know, do you start off with, you know, reading the news, for example? I know that one.
Yeah, I was going to say that one.
Yeah.
I think my day always starts with 20 minutes to half an hour of just reading the news, looking at all of your key titles, seeing what the news of the day is, sharing it around the teams, and seeing if there's anything relevant to kind of either jump on because it's relevant to your clients, or to share with your clients as a kind of FYI. Being on top of the media is really, really kind of a key part of the job.
Absolutely. Just to echo what George has said, it's really, really key. And to listen to, watch and read different forms of media. So from a broadcast perspective, for example, ITV daytime programming and BBC breakfast first thing in the morning will want completely different types of stories to make it work for their programming. So when you're advising clients on the best way to reach their audience, it will depend on what their media diet is, and then reverse engineering that to what your recommendations are. So getting to grips with understanding what different audiences watch or listen to or read, and how that then translates to the brand that you're working for, is something that I think some people can find the hardest, but it's the most important thing to learn about the industry, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Definitely going to the media and seeing what's there for your clients and what you can do during the day to make the most out of your day. As a lot of when you pitch for these opportunities with media, is a lot of it can be time-based. But another thing, quite a bit of a boring thing that I was going to say, was just to start off your to-do list, because that definitely does help to segment your day and just make sure that you're getting done what needs to be done. Because particularly for me, I have quite a few, well, all of my clients are international, so I have to work with time zones, and being able to account for when my emails are going out to make sure they're seen and responded to and actioned on by the right time. So planning your day is definitely something that helps in PR.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, I mean, we're now going to sort of open up the floor to questions. So please feel free to submit questions in the Q&A even box, or the chat function at the bottom of your screen. It's completely up to you. And just if your question is specifically for one person, just let us know who you're directing it to as well. And then in the meantime, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to get into PR?
I can start. So I get, for me, doing work experience was invaluable because I only did a week, and I understood the business, what I liked about it, what I still really, really wanted to learn. So because I know we've mentioned PR is so broad as a term, and there's so many different routes that you can go down, whether that's a particular sector or a particular specialism like me that covers all sectors. Try and immerse yourself as much as possible in as many different forms of PR as possible to understand what there is to offer. And when you're doing that work experience, if you have the opportunity, ask to join as much as possible. If you're hearing someone is going to a video shoot or doing some research, ask to sit in and listen or go with them, and just really ask as many questions as possible would be sort of my key advice.
Amazing, thanks, Jess.
Yeah, I think I would, I mean, I would absolutely echo that. I'd also say that what I found really, really helpful coming into the industry and not really knowing much about it was, it sounds very straightforward, but just reading about it. There are loads of great publications that, like PR Week, for example, is one. There are great kind of PR facing industry publications that just give you a bit of an idea about what the kind of different things are that we do, and the different routes that you can go down. So you'll see really cool things that brands have done as part of their PR strategy, or different directions that certain agencies are going in. It's also really helpful to learn about the different kinds of agencies and learn the names of them and what they specialize in, what they focus on. Because if you do have an idea about the kind of direction that you want to go in, there is information out there to kind of match you up is the wrong word, but to kind of give you an idea of what might suit you best. So just do a bit of reading about it. I'd say almost everybody who goes into PR knows hardly anything about it when they end up going into it. So it's just really good to kind of educate yourself, and that will just really kind of put you in good stead, I'd say.
Brilliant, thanks, Georgia.
Yeah, just echoing what Georgia and Jess said on just following your interest and making sure within PR, wherever you go, that you are doing something that you enjoy and that you would enjoy reading about, because a lot of it you do have to be quite relatively knowledgeable on what your client does as you're selling that to the journalist. And it can be very easy for the journalist to spot you out. There's ways to go about it where you can obviously sort of research something just quickly before you have to answer a question in particular, but having that core interest in what you're speaking about, and so that you're aware of everything that's going, or what's going on within that topic, it's definitely something key.
Amazing, thank you so much. Great advice there, ladies. So we do have one question from Richard, and he's asking, what do you want us to do now? What are the next steps, essentially? And I'll answer some of that, but if you guys would like to chime in, feel free. It's completely up to you, basically. So it's completely up to you if you wanted to go down the degree route, or have look into internships, for example, or work experience, as we've spoken about today, or if you wanted to do the apprenticeship. We're just here to give you what those different options are, because at the end of the day, it could lead you down the same path, which is working in PR, but specifically in the sector that you enjoy, which again we've spoken about as well. We can't say to you exactly what it is that suit you, your interests and things like that, but hopefully you are a little bit more informed after hearing the different experiences from everyone today. I will actually put in the chat a link of PR and communications employers pay their interns, because essentially that's probably a good place for you to start. It sort of categorizes them in terms of the that they specialize in, and also where the possible internship opportunities might be based. Just in the chat, and Richard's actually asked, in terms of volunteering for the schools outreach program. Amazing. We would love to have you. We always want more volunteers, because there will be opportunities, more opportunities coming up after today. So if you please just drop prapprentice@prca.org.uk a line, and say that you would like to join. Otherwise, it's prca.org.uk/schools. And you can see a little bit more information about the programme on there, and then just register your basically. We'll add you to the list. You'll let us know what specific area of the UK you want to focus on, and as and when opportunities come through from schools or colleges, or borough councils, depending on who's running the sort of careers event or fair, then we'll sort of share that with you guys, and you only say that you would like to join if you are able and available for that specific date and time. So Siobhan, great discussion and insight into the experiences from an agency perspective. There's also in-house that is vibrant and varied. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Where do you want us as volunteers to signpost? Hopefully I've just answered the question. And essentially that basically that link, which I'll put into the chat again, PRCA/schools, will hopefully give you a little bit more information about the actual program itself, and where you need to go, essentially, if you wanted to either sign up as a school, or sign up as a business volunteer. It tends to come through to the apprenticeship team, and we'll sort of, put you in the right point you in the right direction as to, where you need to go, whichever way whether or not you are a volunteer or a school, essentially. Hopefully that was helpful, Siobhan. But it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So thank you so much, everybody. Do you guys have any final thoughts, Georgia, Amber?
If anyone has any questions for me that come up after this, then feel free to get in touch. I'm more than happy to have a chat with anyone.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Happy to kind of chat through with anyone, probably via you, Stephanie, makes the most sense. But yeah, happy to answer any follow-up questions.
Amazing, thank you. Okay,
Thanks.
well, I will put the apprentice email in there as well, just so you have it. Although it's basically the same thing that is on that schools link. But any questions at all, feel free to share them with me. And similar to as in the session, if you're directed to anyone in particular, then just let us know and we'll pass it on. So thank you so much, everybody. Hopefully that gives a nice little overview of, the PR industry. You understand, what it is that you might need to do to actually get into the industry, what sort of skills that you might already have as well, that you can also put to use and focus on in those applications, whatever the applications are, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.